Hello and welcome to another Bedroom Guru. I'm not very well today, so I thought I'd have a little chat with you. Gets a bit boring sometimes sitting in bed when it's lovely weather outside. I think I've overdone it a bit, so I've got to have a few days rest. Anyway, enough about me. On my last video where I was talking about spirit guides, I had some lovely conversations with someone called Emma, and she asked about guardian angels. So I thought I'll answer her question and talk to you about guardian angels. In my experience, there are two types of guardian angels. One is a celestial being which has never had a human experience, and the other is a family member or a loved one who looks out for us up there. If you watched Angels on Sky, I always remember the story of when the girl was, I can't remember any of their names, isn't it terrible? I'm saying a lot as well, it's because I'm a bit brain foggy today. So I don't know if this was a real class move talking to you or not. But basically, I've done it again. She was laying asleep and I think it was her granddad woke her up and there was a fire. And if he hadn't have woken her up, she would have passed away. I think she had a baby as well. And there's also the other side of the coin where I remember listening to someone on YouTube once where she had her children in the back of the car in America, and she had had an accident, gone over a bridge and ended up upside down, I think, in a water source. I think it was either a river or something like that. And obviously the car was filling up and all of the electrics have failed, so she couldn't get out, and her children obviously were in the back seat. Can you imagine? I can't even go there or begin to imagine how horrific and terrifying that must have been. And as you can, as she talks, I really can't remember her name. You might be able to find it on YouTube. And she's literally panicking and in complete terror. I don't think she can even get her seatbelt off. She's trying to reach her children. And basically she thinks, well, that's it, we're going to die. And then she had this really calm voice say to her, relax, help is coming. And literally, I think after a little while, she relaxed and allowed the process to happen. And they said, you won't die, your children won't die, you're going to be okay, trust me. And I think she went unconscious, went under the water, and she was found and taken out with her children and saved from drowning. But it was the experience she went through, this voice that said it's okay. Also brings me back to another story on Angels again, where there was a bloke, I met him actually, he was lovely, in America, who was dragged along by a truck. I think the truck was on top of his leg, or he'd lost his leg, and he could feel his life drifting away. And then someone just stood over him and said, "You're going to make it. Don't worry, you're going to survive." And when he came round after all the operations and everything, he said, "I want to talk to the man that stood there and said that." And they said, "Well, there wasn't." And I think there were. I keep saying, it's really doing my head in. And there was film footage, I'm sure, that absolutely there's no way that this man was standing there. So that's interesting, isn't it? So when people are going through really traumatic times, or perhaps they think they're going to die and they're not, someone steps in. If you are, about to do something that could end up endangering you or your loved ones, someone steps in if you're not supposed to be here. I remember once I was driving to a I think it was, I was doing like an afternoon of mediumship or something at a spiritualist church. I think it was somewhere in London. And as I was driving along, I was with my friends, and suddenly someone just went to me, brake. And I thought, my God. So I just literally, we were on the A127 in Rayleigh, leading up towards Basildon in Essex. And I was on the outside lane of the arterial, this dual carriageway, and I literally just threw my feet on the brake. So we shot forwards, and I remember putting my hand over the front of her abdomen to try and stop the force of the brake. And literally as I braked, this huge, the big giant tractor wheels, they're like huge, big giant things, literally bounced right in front of my car, and then bounced over the mid-carriageway and then down the road. So basically, if I hadn't have braked at that time, I would have died. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You know how big those tractor tyres are. Same thing happened when I was in Wales. I was going to work over in Wales, and the car was on the outside lane of the is it the 4? I can't remember. The one that goes to Wales. Typical female. It was on the road to Wales. And what happened was the car just literally stopped. It turned off. All the electrics, the computer, everything turned off. And I was like, oh my God, I literally lost power in the outside lane of a motorway. And I was with a friend. I went, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I was steering it over, trying to avoid all the traffic. Obviously, it was going faster than me because I'd lost immediate power. And we were just crawling into the hard shoulder and everything just stopped. But we weren't properly in, so people were swaying around us. It was absolutely terrifying because of the high speed that all the vehicles were going past. And then I just said, angels, please, please, please get us off of here. We're in danger. You've got to help us. And a voice just said, try the key again. And I tried it, and the car turned on. And I literally didn't even think. I just put my foot on the accelerator and got us up this. Amazingly, there was a slip road. And I got up the top of this slip road, and it died again. And then down the end of the road, there was a garage. So I walked down to this garage and I was like shaking. I was in such a state, and said, this is what happened to the car. And they've come and got the car and towed it in. And they said, there's absolutely no way on this earth that switched off in the outside lane and then restarted again. Your whole computer system's failed. There's no electrics, there's nothing. I said, I'm telling you, it died on the outside lane, it started again. He goes, I don't get that. And he even made a joke. He goes, perhaps you had a guardian angel looking over you. And I knew I did. So my philosophy on guardian angels is, I feel that, we have lots of free will and we make decisions down here on the earth plane as humans. And obviously we've got an allotted time when we definitely go up. They're going at 86, she's going at 47, whatever. And so basically, if we're in a human situation where they think, oh my God, this isn't right, then they will basically manoeuvre energy to get you out of that situation, or give you such an impulsive direction that you can't ignore, that you move away from it. Again, going back to angels, I spoke about my experience when I was staying at my ex's mum's house, and I said, look, we really need to go, because I had a really important meeting the following day. I was still in the police then. We had a new detective superintendent starting, and we were in Purley. And I said, look, we can't stay, we've got to go home. And so he said, right, okay, that's no problem. And as I bent down to put my shoe on, something went, no. And it's such a massive, impactful, powerful energy that surges through you, that basically grabs hold of every instinct you have in your body, and you know that you can't do it. So I took my shoes off, went back into the kitchen, said, we're not going. He said, why? And I said, because we're not supposed to. I've been told, no, we can't go. And everything in me said, do not get in that car and go. And because he knew, obviously, what I do and everything, he went, right, okay then. And it was a nightmare the following morning because the bloody alarm clock didn't go off. So I had to drive like a nutter to get back for this bloody meeting. I was late as usual, got a right telling off, but hey-oh. And then I subsequently found out that on the M25 there was a huge pile-up, about 5 or 6 vehicles, and it would have been the time that we were on the motorway. Figure that one out. So they are there to help us in the most direst times, even if it's just that we've had a breakup or we're going through something. When I first had my road accident, when I was really, really ill, I mean, laying there every day, completely incapacitated, day after day, month after month, year after year. I remember someone talking to me. I was half awake, half asleep, saying, I'm Kai, I'm here to help you. And I knew he was a guardian angel, and this is where the celestial bit comes in, because he was a celestial being. He wasn't a family member or someone that looked out for me. He was a personal angel. So guardian angels are split into two: a personal angel and someone that looks after you, that's had a human connection. So I said, right, okay then. And I remember when I woke up, I had a message from one of my friends who's an angel expert, and she said, do you understand the name Kai? You've got a personal angel with you. And I was like, whoa. And then I think one day, a couple of days after, I went online, and the first person that was up on the screen, it's quite an unusual name, was called Kai from America. He said, I'm just sending you love. I was like, that's a bit random. I've never heard of this bloke before. So it was kind of like a backup to tell me that he was looking after me. To be honest with you, on good days, I started writing my diary with Kai because I kept hearing him, but then he disappeared for a while, and I think that was due to me as well. I don't think he disappeared. I think he was always there, but because of my dense energy and the fact that I was going through the worst time of my life, I cut off that link of listening to him. I think he just wanted to let me know he was there, monitoring and doing everything he could to get me back to where I am now. But I didn't really, connect with his consciousness at all after that. So as I say, there's two types of guardian angel. One is a personal angel. I know this is really confusing. You've got the angel hierarchy, which like the archangels and all the angels that are dedicated to certain things in service to humankind. This isn't that sort of thing. There are angels that are allocated to one specific person. I remember reading a book, and please forgive me, I can't even remember, one of you might know, where a lady's taken down with an illness, and then she has a personal angel come and help her get better, and she tells the story of it. That's going to be my next book, I'm telling you. It's so going to be my next book, how I got through this and got out the other side. Anyway, I'm going to call it Me, Emmy, Myself and I, Diary of a Psychic. That's the next one that's going to be done. Anyway. So there's personal angels. So I think there are an element of angels or a frequency, a layer, a consciousness of angels that are dedicated to one person to help them through whatever's going on, whether it be near-death experience or, depression, whatever it is. They are allocated to one soul to bring them through because they've got importance or they've got a reason for being. Lots of these people have had these angel experiences, then go on to talk about it and, spread messages of angel influence, and it changes their lives, and they end up talking the word of angels. And I think that's what it's supposed to be. Part of your lesson is, right, I'm now going to educate other people on, the miracle of angels. And it's what this lady did, the one that was in the car with the children. So you get the personal angels that come in, they're celestial beings, never been human, and they will come and help you get through whatever it is you're getting through. I'm neither right or wrong on anything. I can only tell you of my experience from birth, of everything celestial, paranormal, but I haven't been open to knowledge of us being able to ask a personal angel to help us. I think they're allocated because there's a crucial moment on our life map that they need to help alter and bring us out of. Obviously, we can invoke and ask certain angels for certain problems. Huge helicopters going past now. It's a gorgeous place to come to arrest me. Thank you, helicopter. Loads of flights around the levels here. It's a nightmare. So you can invoke angels and you can ask angels for specific reasons to come and help you. At the moment, like I've got Michael, because I need strength and courage to move forward in this next part of my life. I have Raguel, which is harmony and balance, and issues to do with legal things that I have to deal with. And so you ask for different angels from the archangel hierarchies to come and help you. So that's you invoking and asking them to help you, and they do. Personal angel is allocated to you for a specific reason. Perhaps it could be, that even if I've even heard of people that have wanted to take themselves over. I remember, I might have already mentioned this, but I remember doing a show over in Kent, and this man, it was like a real big bear of a man, all tattoos and leather jacket, shaved head, scars and everything. And he walked up to me, I thought, I know it's prejudice, isn't it? But I thought, God, he's going to come up and say to me, oh, this is a load of old crap, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't. He come up to me and he said, I absolutely believe in all this. I said, good. I said, at least I won't get a problem from you in the audience. He said, no, I had an angel save my life. I went, did you? And he went, yep. He goes, many, many moons ago, I lost my wife, I lost my job, I lost everything, and I was going to kill myself. And I'm like, bloody hell. And he said, and I think he went up to London or something, and he said, I walked along the streets and I was looking up at, which building was going to be the best one. I'd definitely die if I jumped off of. I was like, Christ. So he saw this building and thought, yeah, that's the one. I'm going to just literally walk up there. I'm not going to sit around or get any, attention. I'm literally jumping because I'm done. I've had enough. So as he went to open the door, he said, he just turned around and it was like he said, everything stopped. Like in a film when everything stops and you're looking across at a stranger across the road. And he said it was like the traffic stopped, people stopped, everything just froze in that second. And there was a man standing across the road from me. And he said, you're not going to do this. Turn around and go home. And he just turned around and went home because of this connection with this bloke. And he said, that was my guardian angel. Thinking, wow. You know, and this lovely man goes around telling everybody about angels and the fact that they, you know, one of them stopped him from killing himself. So we all have them. You know, if we're meant to go, we'll go. You know, if I was meant to die on that motorway that night, I would have, but obviously I wasn't supposed to. So I think that, you know, they come in to think, oh my God, this is all going wrong, we need to sort it out. We also have another type of guardian angel, and that could be someone that is dedicated to looking out for us or loving us from our family or friends. Mine, without any doubt, is my dad. He's always there, and I had a conversation with him the other day, actually. And do you know what really, really, really pees me off, right, is that he told me France was going to win the World Cup, and I don't really know who was playing who. All I did was follow England. And I went, oh, really? And I thought, why didn't I put that up? Because I would have said, oh, my dad said, but, you know, and I didn't. I was gutted, because when I read about it a couple of days ago, whenever it was, that France won, I was like, oh, my God. Perhaps he said that to me to back up what he was telling me for the future as well, because we had a little chat. Because you do worry sometimes as a medium, and you'll know what I'm talking about if mediums are watching this. Am I making it up in my mind? Am I doing the thought process? But no, for God's sake, Nick, how many more years you got to bloody do it before you doubt it? So I was chatting away with him in the kitchen, in my mind. So yeah, perhaps he said about the France thing, because they did win, and it was just backing up whatever he needed to tell me. So he's like with me whenever I get readings and stuff. He always comes up, people that don't know me. So he kind of looks out for me. My nan looks out for my sister. My nan's with my sister a lot, and Dad is with my brother as well. So you can get someone from the spirit world who will look out for you and be your guardian angel. What is very, very, very popular are siblings, especially siblings that have been taken or gone back to the spirit world, you know, as a baby or in pregnancy, because they're so full of this pure energy that they can bring strength, comfort, direction to people down here. So generally they will look after their brothers and sisters. The biggest phenomena I've seen as well are twins that are lost. You know, if one of the twins is lost in pregnancy or in young age, they tend to be normally the guardian angel for, you know, their brother or sister down here. So they've had a human experience. There's someone that's invested in making sure you're safe and happy down here. I would assume that they would have, well, they will have, because they're soul cluster, they're part of your soul family, so they know what's coming up. So if they know that by going down that road you're going to make the biggest decision, you know, mistake of your life, they'll come down and go, don't turn right, turn left, you know. And I suppose they must be completely stressed up there sometimes, because if we go against that gut feeling and it all goes wrong and we're even more misery than we were before, they must think, oh my God, I did try, you know, for lesser things. But I think when it comes to she goes down that road, she's going to die in an accident, then they will intervene and make you think, you almost feel sick with the feeling, I can't do that, you know. And how many of you have mostly said, my God, if I hadn't have done that, this wouldn't have happened, or if I'd done that, that would have happened. And that is definitely either a personal angel or one of your guardian angels, one of your loved ones, down here, keeping you out of danger, heading you in the right direction. As I say, for the lesser problems like, you know, don't take that job, don't go down there because you're going to meet someone who's going to make your life a misery, whatever. Sometimes we go against that and our free will overrides the thought process, and that's when you get that feeling of, I knew it, I knew I shouldn't have taken that job, I knew I should have stayed where I was and waited, or I knew I shouldn't have made that move, I knew I should have waited. Because deep down you've been inspired by someone up there, your guardian angel, that said don't do that, love, and you've done it, and you know there's this little gremlin in the pit of your stomach saying, told ya, shouldn't have done it. And that is where you've gone against divine intervention and thought, no, I'm going to do this anyway. Your ego, you're the lion part of your soul, says, nah, I'm going to do it anyway. And then the little mouse up here is going, oh, you are so going to make a mistake there. And so all you're doing is you're delaying your time of happiness by going against what you should have done. And so you've got to then find your way back from that muck up, back to the state of happiness and contentment. That's the problem. I've always been told from my lot up there that the divine intervention in my life was the road accident. I've said this before. I remember in my darkest days thinking, why have you done this to me? Why have you punished me? Have I done something wrong? Why have you put me in this position? And I was so angry and so desperate to know answers. And of course I couldn't get them because I was in such a low energy. And there was a really clear moment when I was taken up to a healing centre and I had drum healing. And I think I mentioned this before when I mentioned Julianus. It was the first time I'd seen him for about 2 years. I'd just completely disconnected. I hated him for the position they put me in. And he said to me, oh, it was just so beautiful. I was out of it on this drum healing and I sensed him standing next to me and he had his hood up, which means it's always serious. And he touched my face and I could feel my cheek tingling. And he said, my darling child, do you honestly think we would have put you through this for no reason? We had to stop the path that you were on because it was so sorely wrong. And then he showed me a clear path, which was my divine path, and all of this black dead forest and tangled brambles and God knows what. And he showed me pushing through all these brambles and all this crap. And then I'm standing isolated, completely buggered, away from my proper path. Sorry about my language. I'm such a come and go, aren't I? So he said, the only problem is because of your life decisions, you've got to go all the way back through those brambles and that darkness to get back to your path. It's not going to be easy, but we will bring you there. We will bring you back to your path so you know exactly where you're going and what you're doing. And he was right. During that time of going through those brambles and the dead trees and twigs, I had to do a lot of healing. I had lots of past trauma come in dreams where they were healing me. Spirit boot camp, I call it. I know I've mentioned it before. And I could still see myself entangled, trying to pull myself back to this path. But they were guiding me. The problem is that what happened, I think, is that I was so focused on reaching as many people as I could that I overworked myself. So I was like doing shows 3-4 times a week, readings during the day, writing articles, doing radio interviews, looking at television programs that people were offering, and it was all bang, 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 bang. I was with completely the wrong partner. He was just the worst energy I could possibly have had in my life. And when I look back, I can't believe that I attracted that, but that's what I thought of myself at the time. My self-worth attracted that to me. And I look at the people that were around me, and a lot of them were there just because of who I was and what I could do. And then I found that, I wasn't thinking about, because I had staff to pay, I was thinking about shows and worrying about how many people turned up, not how I was going to help them, because I had to pay people. I was responsible for paying people's wages. And it all turned into this robotic drag through life. I completely lost my purpose. I completely lost that spiritual knowledge and essence within myself as well. I don't mean that I was not caring of people. I don't mean that I wasn't a spiritual person, but I was getting it wrong. I wasn't working it myself. I wasn't looking after myself. I wasn't resting. I wasn't meditating. I wasn't seeing how I was affected by the people and situations. I wasn't looking at how I was dealing with other people. And when I look back, I think, wow, you really were in those tangled bushes and branches, not knowing where the hell to go next and what to do. I was allowing myself to be carried by the egos of everybody around me, as well as my own ego, and it was just all so totally wrong. But now I'm back on that path. I'm not healthy, I'm not 100% well, but all I can say to you is that, as I've told you before, I do get down days where I think, I just want to be well, because it's so frustrating, especially when I need physically to get boxes done and pack mirrors and God knows what. So it's hard, when you've got to do physical things. But it's like today, I woke up and I was shaking. I felt like, do you know if you haven't eaten for ages and you haven't slept for ages and you're shaking and you're weak and you feel sick? That's how I woke up. I thought, great, I feel crap today. And so you can either sit in it and just think, oh, I hate life, I can't do anything today, blah, 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 blah. Or I thought, right, what can I do that suits my energy today? What can I do to make myself feel like I'm doing okay? And so I'm doing this, and I've just had to look at one of my columns and started linking in on that. And just linking back to the source is the easiest way to do it. Just sit and feel the people that you love. You know, if you're not used to this, just think of the people that have passed over. Think of the people that you miss, and just pretend in your mind. That word pretend is a bit contentious, but let me just say, pretend that you're sitting with your nan having a cup of tea, and what you're inadvertently doing is you're sending your intentions and your energy up to that frequency, that consciousness, where your nan will go, oh, bless her, she's trying. And the more you do that, you'll start seeing or start having conversations that there's no way you could have made up. And before you know it, you're actually taking yourself up to the reality layer and sitting with your nan, and your soul is actually there. Try it. What's the worst that can happen? You know? So I've got to have an easy day, which is a right pain in the bum because I had so much planned. So I'm looking for things. I know I'm digressing a bit on this, but I'm just trying to show you how my mind and my soul has completely gone through a transition since I call the dark days, where I was just not on my path. But those angels up there, the lucky thing is I've had guardian angel, personal angel and the angel realms bring me back. I even had, when I was in the house I was renting, after that spell of being homeless, I remember thinking, oh my good God, what the hell is this? Because all the windows went dark, and I thought, shit. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And even the dogs were looking, and I thought, is it a plane gone over or something? And then suddenly I had this bolt in my mind, this huge robed woman, right? And she was all in dark robes. I'm like, oh my God, dark hair. And she was surrounding the house. Her whole being was surrounding the house, airtight, and I started panicking, thinking, "Oh my God!" Because I was in a cemetery. I rented a lodge in a cemetery. Oh my God! Oh, what was I thinking? But do you know what? And I thought, oh my God, there's some bloody. And I'm thinking, oh, calm down. There's not going to be some dark bloody doomsday bird. It's a bloody cemetery, for Christ's sake. It's just full of remains. There's nothing here. And I was going mental. And then that Kai voice, you know, he said, the seraphim are here. They will protect your energy. Now you must protect yourself. Heal, learn, and move forward. And I had this huge seraphim, which are like, they're really strong warriors. You know, they emanate on the element of fire. You know, they're like they bring song. I used to hear songs sometimes during the middle of the night. And I thought I'd left like the telly on and things like that. They vibrate on this song vibration. They remind me of Sandalphon, and they're protectors. They're the ones that, you know, if there's a tsunami, they come down and collect multiple amounts of souls. They have 4 heads to face east, south, north, west. They're always depicted as the warrior angels, the protective angels. They heal people that have come up from battle or really, really violent deaths. You know, they're the ones that are in the celestial gardens that bathe you with the divine water from, you know, the source, which is the fountain there, the fountain of youth, perhaps you might know it as. They are just the most formidable people. And I realised that seraphim was protecting me from the world, from people, from anything that could interfere with my consciousness. And during that time at that lodge, I was surrounded by forests and graves. I only saw a couple of people, and that isolation served me well, because I think if I had felt better, or I had thought, oh, do you know what, I'm all right, I would have been straight in there working again, straight in there doing what I thought I was supposed to be on this planet for, telling everybody about the afterlife. And I would have knackered myself out again and had myself straight back in bed. So, you know, it's almost like I wasn't kept there prisoner, but I was there for a reason. And the same reason is why I'm here again. Not that it bloody sounds like it, with all the tractors going past and the combine officers, but I'm in the middle of the countryside. And again, I chose this space, or they chose it for me. Archangel Michael got it for me. For complete isolation, again for reflection, healing. And suddenly, as I've told you before, September, I thought, I'm ready to get back in the world. I'm ready now. I'm not 100%, but I know that now that everything inside is healed, everything is strong and whole. And so now I'm going to be going back into an environment where I'm around people and seeing new and old friends and being able to get back into the world. And, you know, even I thought, God, is this the right thing? And then I remember the following day getting a message from my sister, and most probably a lot of you have seen it advertised on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all that, that I'm doing Spa Day for the Soul. So that'll be my first time going back doing a platform demonstration of mediumship in Essex on the 6th of January. And it's like, wow, but I'm not going to then go full throttle back into it. It's just one day of me dedicating myself to that. But on the other scale, I'm doing a workshop about angels because my priority has shifted, it's changed. So now I'm more about teaching, I'm more about spreading awareness, I'm more about writing about what I know. I'm more about how we can cope through life's difficulties, how to make you aware that there is a divine consciousness always around us that we can tap into to be helped. So my path has completely changed like I never imagined, which my dad told me back in 2012 or 2013. He told me this is what's going to happen. And I've never felt so content. Not going to lie, my physical body sometimes really does get me down. And I find frustration in not being able to get out of this bed. Like today, I'm going to have to surrender and just say, right, okay, even though I've got loads to do. With the house, I'm like, nope, okay, that's fine. I'll just sit and either binge watch something on Netflix or do something that will help enlighten people. And I've chosen this. And I know I keep saying this in my videos, but I get so many emails and messages from people saying this is happening to me, that's happening to me. They're not getting what I'm trying to tell them. The core of everything that you can do in your life, whether it's happy, sad, or, you know, indifferent, is from you. You're the one that can transform everything. It's just fear of changing and fear of trying something different. The reason I've gone on this tangent is to let you know that through guardian angels, both my dad, must be my granddad, and a personal angel, and the angel realms, and the spirit world, I've had the whole caboodle obviously come in on this crisis that took place, change my path. And obviously the one compromise has been me having this chronic condition. But I know that it will go when I'm ready. So, you know, that's why I got these columns out of the blue. How the hell did that happen? You know, they just plopped in. So I've got these columns. So I'm doing things that my body can manage. I can talk when I can, and I can write when I can. I don't need to go running or getting dressed up or putting makeup on, as you can see, getting my hair done to go up on stage to do something. I'm doing it from my bed, from my lounge, when I'm writing my columns. And for me, that's absolutely fine, because me doing what I'm doing now, talking to you, imparting my experiences, my knowledge to help you, is just amazing. I love it. And I really hope that you enjoy it. Again, thank you so much for all the messages of people saying how much they enjoy this. And my columns really makes my day. So please keep them coming, because it does make me feel like, you know, I'm doing something worthwhile, rather than just, you know, on a bad day I think, oh, this is a waste of time, nobody's listening, nobody cares. You know, I get a bit like that, and then I snap myself out of it, think, whoa, hang on a minute. And then I keep and save all the beautiful messages that you send me. And it gives me such a boost, and I'm so humbly grateful for that. So, anyway, Emma, I hope I've answered your question on guardian angels. They are there to help us. And when anything happens that changes your life, whatever it may be, there is a reason for everything. And I'm sure that a year, 2 years, 5 years down the line, you'll look back and think, wow, thank God that happened. And it could be the worst ever thing that's happened in your life. And you just think, thank God it's happened. Because if it hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be here now. So trust everything. Part of the 4 TRs, trust everything that happens in your life, because there is a divine plan. There are people up there that are aware of your divine path and will help you when they can. The biggest crux of all this is, if you open your energy up and you acknowledge these divine interventions around you and the consciousnesses around you, your life is going to be so much easier. It really is. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, because I need a cup of tea, because my throat is very dry, very dry. And I really hope you've enjoyed this connection today. And if there's anything you want to know about, please send me a message either via Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or on here, and I'll be happy to answer them. There are loads and loads of emails already that I've got on questions, but quite a lot of them I've already kind of addressed in other videos. So whatever I feel inspired to do, I will do next time. Perhaps about how mediums work, I don't know. But something generally always comes up and I think, wow, I've got I've got to address that today, you know. So you take care, enjoy this wonderful weather, and stop moaning it's too hot. That's all I hear when I do go out. And I really hope this has helped you. As always, I ask that you refer people to subscribe to this channel if you feel that I can help them. That's all I want. And anything you need, anything you want to ask about, please do. You can also email me, nicky.alan@btinternet.com. And I look forward to speaking to you the next time. Have a good day. Stay safe. Open your heart. Take care now.